Hey guys, so I thought I'd do a quick video on fake out of home, FOOH, CGI ads, forks out of home, whatever you want to call it. While it's still sort of relevant, I think it is something that's sort of dying out at the moment, but like it's losing its appeal as much. But you still definitely in South Africa, there's still some opportunities and different ways you can really execute it. So yeah, it's just for whoever is interested and what it's about, etc., how it works. So fake out of home ads are a combination between video footage and 3D 3D designed elements that are showcasing a product in a weird, absurd way that's not reality, but it sort of is. Yeah, so these ads combine real footage with imaginative 3D elements to showcase products in a unique way. Foo could potentially be a visual masterpiece, but it does blur reality and fiction, and then yeah, just challenges everything you thought you knew about advertising. It's different, it's a different way to run it. Forks out of home only works when you combine in the out of home agencies with the PR agencies. There's got to be some sort of collaboration there because this only works when you link in it to a PR initiative. So it needs to be a social media drive. The videos get created and then posted on social media. Brands then some brands do the news networks, they do articles. So there's various ways to push this and create engagement on it. So just something to keep in mind. It's not just create and upload sort of thing. It needs some back end assistance. Ooh. So does it work? It 100% does work. These are still the low numbers. There's so many. I just pretty much grabbed some screenshots from wherever. But there's some brands that were whacking 20 million easy views on Insta/TikTok. And people forget, so these are main brand pages, but then there's other people that take these videos and repost it on their own page and still get 400k on their own pages. So you're getting quite a large audience when you're doing something like this. So it definitely does work. Yeah. How does it work? Okay, so firstly we take a video using our phones, or you get a professional photographer. It's up to you. Using the phone is nice because you got the realism of the shakiness and stuff, like you would if you had really taken a video. Like, oh, what's that? Okay, that then gets imported into a special video editing software. We also use 3D modeling software. A designer creates 3D models of elements. So it could be this can, could be this dragon, could be KFC cup. That 3D content then gets added into that video editing software and then exported out as a final rendering. It's obviously a lot more complex, but that's the basic gist of it. And then the video then gets uploaded to what's the name. So this is just a quick idea of how it works, so you can see before and after, before and after, before and after. So you can see it works. So yeah. How do we make this better? So this is my personal opinion on things you could do differently to make this thing sort of better. So I'll go through what you could do slightly different based on current footage. Because it's not just taking a video of an area and then CGI something in. You need an audience. You need these sort of things. I'll use KFC and Pepsi as examples. Although they did really well, it's like things that I could have done differently if it was me or somebody else. Obviously, every brand is different. It's budget dependent. It's really like what you're advertising and how you're advertising. So these all do change. So how do we make this better? Okay, so you'll see online, or you'll see all good online content has an audience in front of the camera. So that's important. So you hire a rent a crowd from some promoters, stand in front of the camera. They're like, oh, what's that? What's that? There's obviously nothing in front of them, but they're acting like there is. And then that video gets edited and then it once it's edited, it looks like they're looking at that specific item. So these can be promoters, influencers, having a big reaction in front of them to that CGI in front of them. Most content online is from one angle. So if you look at KFC, Pepsi, all of these international brands, it's always shot from one angle. So like, why was it only one person that saw it? If it's they're obviously trying to create a realism of it. So why did only one person in the whole of the country or whole of that city only see it? If it's so big. So my personal perspective, I would have cameras at different angles. So if we're looking at KFC, there's those yellow frames, the selfie frames. There's a few of them around Cape Town, so you could place your cameras at those sort of places and have your rental crowds there, and then you shoot in that same Table Mountain cup from different angles. With on top of that, that's a good time to actually link in influencers. So if you include brand influencers into it, where it looks like they're doing a selfie or recording themselves with the brand, then they get to share it on their profiles. The brand gets to share something on their profile, and you have a sort of collaboration and a talking point between the various influencers, the brand, etc. And everyone kind of goes live with it at the same time. So let me actually just open up. Let's look at this Table Mountain, for example, right? So we got all these people here in front of the cup, this guy seems to be recording. There's another lady in front over there. She's also recording, but where's all their content? Like, she's taking a selfie there. Where's that photo? So what I would have done is I would got popular influencers involved with the brand. I'd have some placed here. I'd have some placed at another selfie frame. You obviously do your main video for the brand. So this could be your main brand video. And then the influencers ones would be less quality. It would be a very quick one. But they also have the cup. So if you're on a different angle, you'd have the cup from the right-hand side angle, So it creates that almost realism to it as well, which is really cool. So I like how they blur the quality of that coffee cup as well. It makes it look realistic when your camera quality goes a little bit less. But yeah, so that's the main difference here. I would do, and the same thing for the Pepsi. The guys are standing here at a specific, I know there's like a little field close by Pepsi, but you could have some extra guys there by the Lions stadium, what's it called, Emirates Park. You could potentially even with rugby players, depending on who they're sponsored by and stuff. But yeah, then you can have some rugby players doing a selfie with this thing. Like, what is this thing in the background? And then you have your main video. So it's like some tweaks I would maybe do, Then you could say include in real life objects. So obviously the main point of doing CGI is to reduce costs, and I completely understand that. But what if you actually bring in real life sort of objects? So if we look at this Alexandra Wang, I literally just found something quick online and got a quick mock-up put together. Just click on that. So if you're driving up close, like you can see this truck drives through, it creates this realistic effect. Very amazing. People are like, oh, it really works nicely. Great. Let me just close this. Okay, so there, so it looks like, see that truck. Now imagine driving down the road and then you see the same thing on a billboard, or so for this example I've done the Alexandra Wang billboard with cut out. Like, oh, was it real? Wasn't it real now? Because now you've seen it more. You woke up in the morning, you opened your phone, you saw it online. You drive into work and now you've seen it on a billboard. Let's say it was a bubblegum brand, let's just do, what was that one brand? I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, it had this little kid, looked like it was floating in the sky with a balloon, So you could do some CGI versions of that, and then you do like a blimp in real life, a few blimps. Then people start getting confused. So you link in real life and CGI together. So the same as you would do with any normal advertising a campaign, you're doing a radio ad, you're doing a billboard, you're doing a TV ad, you're linking all these things. So people wake up, they see an ad on their phone, they get in the car, they hear that ad on the radio. Now, while they were driving to work, while they're hearing it on the radio, they're seeing it on there. So it all ties together. Okay, some rules and guidance to keep in mind. These obviously do change, but I think it's the main basic set of rules. Always attach it to a real campaign. Don't just randomly do something. And obviously, this is quite obvious. So I have a current campaign to tie it into. KFC did it well. Pepsi did it well. KFC linked it to their new cappuccinos. They had big background billboards, radio. They had a whole bunch of stuff extra on it. So it wasn't just that. Same with Pepsi. They had, I think it was the new can and all that. So they did it well. Okay, so don't say it's fake. Don't say it's real either. You never want to mislead your customer. Obviously, that's quite obvious. If it looks really real, then when you post your content online, then have a little hashtag somewhere that says CGI. So you're not misleading. It clearly says CGI, that it's a CGI thing. So you've put the hashtag CGI in there, So yeah, never mislead the customers. But we're not making it obvious. We're not. Yeah. Okay, this falls outside ARA and the normal out-of-home advertising regulations, but you still need to follow your local social media rules and guidelines, as we know. So if you need to do certain things in your social media in South Africa, then you do that. Okay, when using paid spaces, billboards, or anything that has an ad on it that you will be covered up, rather ask the media owner or the building owner for permission. So there's a few examples. I think Pepsi, let's not mention brands or anything, but like if there's let's do Maybelline. That's an overseas thing. So we do Maybelline CGI train. So this is the CGI that started everything. But what they did here is actually CGI a billboard that was paid to be advertised on, and they've done this. So as a media owner, they could be quite upset about it. As a brand that's paid lots of money for this billboard, they can be upset about it. So imagine you saw this online and you've paid for the space. You're gonna phone the media and say, "Hey, how do you resell our space?" And so there might be a little bit of drama. So it's just something to keep in mind. You don't just take a billboard and put your own stuff on it. You book the space with your brand on it with the billboard, then you link it to the CGI, and now people see the billboard and the CGI. Now it's all perfect, So just some things to keep in mind. Make sure there are no licenses or trademarks on the landmarks or buildings you use in your videos. I don't think this necessarily applies in South Africa too much, but you just got to watch out to make sure. Because I was looking at, let's say, KFC Table Mountain, like, okay, cool, is it a licensed visual? It's not really. You normally got to ask permits from Table Mountain, but in this case, it's sort of on the borderline, so it's normally fine. Not much they would be able to do about it. But I know in America, the Empire State Building is a licensed visual. So if you include it in commercial purposes, if you're making money or brands using it, you would have to ask for permission and pay for a license to use it in your footage. Same with the Eiffel Tower at night. It's a trademark and licensed visual. So you can't just use the visuals. You can't just do anything you want on Empire State Building without asking permission, getting the correct licenses, because they will make you take it down. And I don't know if there'll be any other recourse on it. But anyway, okay. So make sure you apply for filming permits at your local council. So you can't just, if you're going to do just like a drone, you got to do permits. Obviously, you get the illegal drone guys, but they're not doing much with the footage. If you're going to use drone footage in TV, social media as a big brand, it's always best to use a licensed drone operator, because you're going to get drone police. So it's called, like, it's just normal guys they're normally the pilots of the guys who do it officially and got the right permits and licenses. they sit online and say, hey, where's your permit, where's your license, and then they report you. So rather with your every you can't just take videos and photos anywhere you want. As a photographer, you need to apply for permits and photos. Rather do that so there's no recourse on that. If you're going to do something, do it well. So yeah, if you're going to do something, do it well, or either otherwise you purposely make it look fake. So if you're going to do some sort of CGI, you either make it really hyper realistic or you make it look really fake. So like the Maybelline and all those look, you like you could get confused. Is it real? Isn't it real? You know. But if it was a brand for, like, say, SpongeBob, or animated series, like you could have it having whole SpongeBob and Squidward climb up Table Mountain. You know it's fake, but it's funny. So yeah, either do it really well or you purposely make it look fake. There's no in between. And then make sure you work with a good PR influencer agency. You need some sort of online drive. I spend a lot of time on that slide. And then just some basic sort of costs on doing something like this. So a KFC cup, if we had to have done it with 58 to 80k. I'm not saying this is what they paid. This is what it would cost. It's just a real average of what you should look at when you're doing something like this. Pepsi can on towers, 90 to 120. So this doesn't include for PR and influencers, but it does include for the promoters and all that stuff. Obviously, if you had to implement my changes to these two brands, like having different angles, doing it slightly different, the costs are going to increase because there's a little bit more video editing. It won't increase by a lot. It's a little bit extra travel to various points in Cape Town or Joburg or wherever. So those are just sort of things you got to keep in mind. So yeah, I hope this presentation helped out a lot, and yeah, let's try end this thing now.